Hey everyone, and welcome back to the official Temple University YouTube channel. My name is Delia, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about some study tips, how I organize my schoolwork, and how I stay motivated. So to start off, I want to talk a little bit about how I organize my schoolwork. So the key here is to figure out what works for you. I know for me personally, I like to use a combination of Google Calendar and then also my spreadsheet that I made. But there's tons of different ways to organize your schedule and your homework and your classes. It just depends on what works for you. So yeah, for me personally, I live by my Google Calendar. I live by my spreadsheet. It's like the first thing I do when I go into the library or wherever I am studying. I open it up and see what I have to do and organize it in order of priority. The Google Calendar is super helpful because I can have the app on my phone and then I put a little widget on my home screen. So then literally all I do is I open my phone and my whole day, everything, my classes, my club meetings, tasks, it's all there. The spreadsheet is great because you can put so much information about your assignments. Just taking a look at my spreadsheet from last semester, I organized my classes by color. I put the date, I put the class, the assignment. I also put a link to the Canvas page, which is really helpful. It makes it super easy to just click on the link and be sent directly to the assignment. And then I also have a little checkbox on the side as well, so I can check off when I complete assignments, which is always really satisfying, and it's fun to look back on this spreadsheet from the last semester because I can see all the work that I did. Alright, so here's a super quick tutorial on how I put my spreadsheets together. You obviously open a new spreadsheet. I'll start by just putting the titles at the top. So I'll put date, class, assignment, link, and then completed. And I also like to put notes on the side as well. To make the little check boxes, all you have to do is click insert and then checkbox. To make the little drop down menu for the class section, again you just hit insert and then you go to drop down, and then you can go through and put your different classes and you can change the colors, hit done, and then as you can see here there's this little drop down menu and it's super easy. You can just select the class. But again, like I said, that's not the only way to organize homework. I know some people like to use this website called Notion. For me, it's a little bit overwhelming, but if you're somebody who likes to really customize your workspace, I definitely recommend using Notion. I also know for me personally, I really like to see the semester overall big picture. So at the very beginning of the semester, I will go through each syllabus for each class and then put all the assignments in there just so I can see everything. It helps me with time management and organizing everything. I will always recommend using something like a Google Calendar just because we have so many things going on, different clubs and organizations, classes, assignments, and everything else. I really like also using the task feature. It just helps me organize like when I'm gonna do things, when I'm gonna complete certain assignments or certain tasks. And then here's a look at my Google Calendar from last semester. As you can see, I just have different calendars for each class and it's all color coded and it matches to my spreadsheet. Next, I wanted to give a few tips on time management because as I said before, we're super busy. There's always so much going on. It's hard to keep track and make sure that everything gets done. So my first tip is to prioritize tasks. So for example, on my Google Sheet, I will organize the assignments in order of what I think is most important, whether that's based off of when the assignment is due, or maybe I like to get the longer assignments done first or the shorter assignments done first. It's up to you. And something else going off of that, if you are stuck on an assignment and you can't get past it, move along to something else and then come back to it. I know for me personally, I'm very much the type of person who's like, I need to get this assignment done all in one go, but that's not efficient and that isn't always going to be the best way to go about it. So I definitely recommend, if you're stuck, go work on a different assignment and you can always come back to it. Another point I want to make, kind of going off the Google Calendar and going off of prioritizing your assignments, make sure that you set reasonable time limits for yourself to complete the assignments. One way that I like to organize my work is by saying, okay, I'm going to do these 3 assignments on Monday, these 2 assignments on Tuesday, etc., whatever it may be. Make sure that you're not overloading yourself with too much work on one day. Make sure that you spread it out evenly. Be realistic with yourself. If you know an assignment is going to take you a long time, give yourself the extra time to do it. Another tip I have for when it comes to time management is making sure that you're just using your time wisely. When you're a college student, you have a lot of weird gaps in your schedule, whether it be like an hour and a half or like 45 minutes. Try to utilize that time to get work done. I also definitely take advantage of the time that I have during my on-campus job. I know for me personally, I like to really focus on school from early in the morning, like 8 a.m. until maybe 5 or 6 in the evening. I really focus on school, so that way at the end of the day I can have a break, because that's another really important thing. Make sure that you are giving yourself breaks and giving yourself time to do things other than school, because you'll get burnt out. That's a one-way ticket to burnout right there. I know it's really hard, but try to set aside time to relax, because when you do that, you become a more efficient student and it's easier for you to get work done. Another big thing for me is avoiding distractions. I personally get so distracted so easily. I can get distracted by anything. I do my very best to remove all distractions. I turn my phone all the way off. I turn all my notifications off because sometimes they'll come up on my computer. I do my best to find places that are quiet because I do get really distracted when I hear people talking. I also like to book study rooms ahead of time, because that's sort of like a guaranteed just quiet space where you can really focus and there's minimal distractions. Another thing about the Charles Library that I really like is that they have a lot of tables that are sort of set up like, the only way I can describe this is, you know when you were in elementary school and you'd be taking a test and they would put up those little cardboard things so that you couldn't see other people's papers and so that you were kind of like enclosed in a space? They have that basically at Charles Library, and I think it's really great because you can't really see what's going on around you and you can really just focus in on your work. And although I like to be, in study rooms alone without distractions, sometimes if you need motivation, it's not a bad idea to go to big areas in the library where it's all open and you can see a bunch of other people, because sometimes when I see other people working really hard, I get inspired to do it myself and it really motivates me to get my work done. So it really just depends. Another big tip that I have is diversifying your study spaces. I will sit down in the library in one area for like an hour and a half and do work, and then I'll get up and I'll move and I'll go to like the tech center or some other building on campus just to mix it up. I feel like that's another thing that kind of helps with burnout, is just mixing up your surroundings. Also, I recommend getting outside to do homework, especially during this period of time where the weather is actually nice out. Take advantage of it. One tip I have for you if you're studying for like an exam is to use the Pomodoro timer. So there's a whole bunch of different ones on YouTube that you can use. Essentially what it is you're studying for a period of time and then you take a break, and then you're studying and then you take a break. I really like to use the one that is work for 25 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes. Some people prefer to use like work for an hour, take a 20-minute break. And don't forget, self-care is incredibly important, and if you want to be a good student, you have to take care of yourself. You gotta fuel yourself with food and sleep so that you're able to do what you need to do. And the last tip that I have is to just make sure that you're using your resources. Temple has so many resources for students. You can check out the video that I made about some of those resources. I hope that some of these tips helped you and you can take them and apply them to your academic life. If you want to see more, make sure you check out the other videos that we have on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.